Hey Wesley, man. I've been thinking a lot lately about how many people want to learn a new language, especially Spanish, but they just never seem to get there. It's like a perpetual New Year's resolution.
Oh, absolutely, Emilio. It's on so many people's bucket lists, isn't it? I want to be fluent in Spanish. And then, crickets. Or they try for a couple of weeks, hit a wall, and give up. I've been there myself, honestly.
Right. And I think a huge part of that is how we've traditionally been taught languages. All those rigid grammar rules, memorizing verb conjugations, it just takes the fun out of it, and it feels like a massive chore rather than an exciting journey.
It really does. It becomes this academic exercise, not a skill you actually want to use in real life. You spend hours poring over textbooks, only to find yourself completely tongue-tied when a native speaker asks you a simple question.
Exactly. And that's where I think online courses, when done right, can really change the game, because they offer a flexibility and often a different approach that traditional classrooms just can't match. You can learn at your own pace, from your own couch, in your pajamas if you want to.
That convenience factor is huge, no doubt. For busy professionals, parents, anyone with a packed schedule, fitting in a weekly in-person class can be a nightmare. Online, you can grab 20 minutes here, 30 minutes there. It adds up.
It absolutely does, and the sheer variety of resources available online now is staggering. From apps to YouTube channels to full-blown comprehensive courses, there's something for everyone. But, and this is a big but, not all online courses are created equal, you know?
Oh, for sure. That's actually one of the potential cons, isn't it? The paradox of choice. You jump online, search Learn Spanish, and suddenly you're drowning in a sea of options, many of which are just not good. Or they're basically just digital versions of those old boring textbooks.
Bingo! You nailed it, and that's why I wanted to talk about something specific today. I've been really impressed by a course called Learn Spanish Like I Did. It's kind of a breath of fresh air because it completely flips that traditional learning model on its head.
Intriguing. Tell me more. Learn Spanish like I did. What makes it different from the hundreds of other courses out there that promise fluency in 30 days or whatever ridiculous claim they make?
Well, the core philosophy is what they call the natural approach. The creator, Kendall, basically says, look, how did you learn your first language? You didn't sit down with grammar books as a baby, right? You listened, you absorbed, you understood before you started speaking perfectly. This course tries to replicate that.
So it's about immersion without actually being in a Spanish-speaking country then. That makes a lot of sense, intuitively. Kids pick up languages so fast, and they're definitely not conjugating verbs on flashcards.
Exactly. The course focuses heavily on comprehensible input. You're exposed to Spanish through stories, mini-stories, and dialogues that are specifically designed to be understood at your level, gradually increasing in complexity. The idea is that your brain naturally starts to piece together the patterns, the meaning, the grammar, without conscious effort.
That sounds revolutionary almost. So no grammar tables, no verb conjugations, no memorizing endless lists? That's a huge selling point for anyone who's been traumatized by traditional language classes.
Precisely. Kendall's whole thing is that trying to force-feed grammar actually hinders natural acquisition. You're meant to focus on understanding the message, the story, and the language will come. It's about building confidence through understanding, which then makes speaking much easier and more natural later on.
I can definitely see the appeal there. My biggest hurdle has always been that mental block, that fear of making mistakes when speaking. If you're primarily focused on just understanding, it takes a lot of that pressure off, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It's about effortless learning, as they put it, because it doesn't feel like you're studying, it feels like you're engaging with interesting content, and that engagement is what keeps you going, even when life gets busy. It makes it sustainable.
Sustainable is a key word there. We've all started programs with the best intentions, only to fizzle out after a few weeks because it felt like a grind. If it's genuinely engaging and low stress, that's a game changer for long-term retention.
Right. And another big pro for online learning, generally, is the cost-effectiveness compared to private tutors or university courses. And Learn Spanish Like I Did actually has a really compelling offer right now that makes it even more accessible.
Oh really? Do tell. Because that's often the second biggest hurdle after motivation, the financial investment. If it's a good course, but it costs an arm and a leg, it's a tough sell.
They're actually running a sale right now, which is pretty wild. You can get the entire Learn Spanish Like I Did course for 50% off. Half price. That's a massive discount for a program that's designed to fundamentally change how you learn a language.
Wow, 50% off is no joke. That makes it incredibly attractive, especially if someone's been on the fence about trying a new method or has felt like other courses were just too expensive. It lowers that barrier significantly.
It really does. And when you factor in the benefits, learning without rote memorization, actually understanding Spanish like a native, building real confidence, that 50% discount makes it a no-brainer for anyone serious about learning Spanish.
Okay, so we've talked about the unique approach and the fantastic discount. Let's address some of the general cons of online learning again. What about the lack of human interaction? Some people thrive on speaking practice with real people, right?
That's a really valid point, Wesley, and it is a general con of many online self-study programs. However, Learn Spanish Like I Did does try to mitigate that. They offer access to a private community where you can connect with other learners. While it's not one-on-one tutoring, it's a space to share experiences, ask questions, and feel supported, which is crucial.
That's a smart addition. A sense of community can make a huge difference in motivation and accountability. It's like having virtual classmates, even if you're all learning at different times. It fights that feeling of isolation that can sometimes come with online learning.
Exactly. And another common concern is the need for self-discipline. With no fixed class times or a teacher breathing down your neck, it's easy to procrastinate. How does Learn Spanish Like I Did address that, beyond just making it fun?
That's a huge one for me, personally. My motivation waxes and wanes. If a course isn't structured well, or if it's too much, do whatever you want, I'm likely to just drift off. What about this course's structure?
It's highly structured, actually. While it's self-paced, it's not just a collection of random videos. There's a clear progression through the material, starting from absolute basics and building up. Each lesson is bite-sized and builds on the last, which creates a natural momentum. You feel like you're actually achieving something in each session, which fuels continued engagement.
Okay, that's important. A clear path is essential, so you're not just given a bunch of content and told good luck. There's a guided journey, even if you're taking it at your own speed. That sounds like a good balance between flexibility and direction.
Absolutely. It's designed to be intuitive. You're constantly getting that comprehensible input, which means you're always understanding more than you might think you are. And that constant sense of progress, even subtle, is incredibly motivating. It's not about memorizing a list of 50 new words. It's about understanding a new story that uses those words naturally.
That makes so much sense. I remember trying to learn French years ago, and it was just lists, lists, lists. I'd learn them, forget them, learn them again. It was exhausting and felt like I was constantly forgetting rather than learning.
Right, and the Learn Spanish Like I Did approach really addresses that long-term retention issue. When you acquire language naturally, through context and story, it sticks. It becomes part of your internal linguistic framework, rather than just data points you've temporarily crammed into your short-term memory.
So who do you think this course is really for then? Is it for absolute beginners, or can someone who's tried and failed before benefit from this natural approach?
I think it's fantastic for absolute beginners, because it sets them up with the right foundation from day one, avoiding all those traditional pitfalls. But honestly, it might be even more impactful for those who have tried traditional methods and failed, like you and I discussed earlier.
Why more impactful for them?
Because they've experienced the frustration. They know how disheartening it is to put in effort and not see results. This course offers a totally different paradigm. It can reignite that passion for learning by showing them a path that actually works and feels good. It can heal that language trauma, if you will.
That's a powerful way to put it. Language trauma is real. I've definitely felt that. The idea of learning without feeling like I'm studying is incredibly appealing. It almost sounds too good to be true, but the logic of natural acquisition is sound.
It really is, and the proof is in the pudding. People who stick with this method consistently report breakthrough moments where suddenly conversations just start clicking and they're understanding things they never thought they would. And that's all without having to recite verb conjugations in their sleep.
That's the dream, isn't it? To finally get a language without the agony of the textbook. So for anyone out there listening, especially if you've been on the fence about learning Spanish, or if you've tried traditional methods and felt discouraged, Learn Spanish Like I Did really sounds like it's worth a look.
Absolutely. And seriously, don't forget about that 50% discount. It's a limited time offer, so if you're even remotely considering it, now is definitely the time to jump on it. Think of it as investing in an entirely new, enjoyable, and effective way to connect with a whole new culture.
A new way to learn, a new culture, and half off. You can't beat that. So Emilio, if someone wants to check this out, where should they go?
Just head over to learnspanishlikeidid.com. You'll find all the information there about the course, the natural approach, and of course, details on how to grab that 50% discount before it's gone. Trust me, your future fluent self will thank you.
Fantastic. I'm actually feeling inspired to give it another go myself. Thanks for bringing this to our attention, Emilio. This could really be the game changer for so many people.
My pleasure, Wesley, and for all our listeners, seriously, take advantage of this. Learning Spanish opens up so many doors, and with a method like this, it doesn't have to be a struggle, it can actually be a joy. Until next time, adios!
Adios, everyone.